Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In Jeremiah chapter 23, we see the shepherds, or we could say even the people of authority and the kings connected to that. We see the prophets and then also the priests, all not fulfilling their role in Judah. The shepherds or the kings were scattering God's people. They weren't really leading them properly. We see the prophets prophesying lies, the priests also not going about their duties properly. And we see that the prophets, the priests, and the kings were all uh, basically not in line with God's will and not fulfilling their roles. However, there's a promise of a Messiah, the Christ who would come, who would be the one who would fulfill those roles. He would be the prophet, priest, and king that would rule over the people properly. He would speak to them properly. And then he'd also fulfill the role as the great high priest in offering up the ultimate sacrifice that would take away the sins of the people. And this is a great encouragement for us as we think about Jesus Christ, who fulfilled all these different things. But thinking about these who were not fulfilling their roles ought to be a warning to us that whenever the Lord puts us in a particular position, or when the Lord puts us to a particular task, that we ought to fulfill that role and accomplish that task in accordance to God's will. This ought to be a warning to us, whether we are church leaders, where this would probably most apply for church leaders to fulfill their roles as leaders of the church and not to use those roles as a means by which to take advantage of the church or live a selfish life or do things that destroy the church. But then also just in other types of roles, maybe the Lord has allowed us to become parents and put us in a position of authority over children. Or maybe the Lord has led us to be teachers. And so we have those that we teach. It could be that we are even people who just serve, but yet we have people that we serve. We need to serve them properly. Whatever it is that the Lord has led us to do in service for the kingdom and in service to others, we ought to do it in an appropriate way, in a way that would please the Lord, because we see that there were dire consequences for those who didn't do so. And so hopefully as we read Jeremiah chapter 23, we can look at the various roles that God has put us in and analyze those things and think about, are we really fulfilling those things? Are we really giving the Lord our best in these various roles that we play a part in and that the Lord has entrusted to us? And that if we're not fulfilling those roles, that we go back to the Lord and confess it to the Lord, repent, and then begin again to do our best to go out and do the work of the Lord in a way that would please Him and that would best help His people and would better accomplish His will and His purposes on this earth. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.